Let me sum it up is like the iPhone, expensive, but just the right amount of features, for you to have a great experience. But those features are implemented really well, and no nonsense. Does not look flashy, does not need flashing LEDs or whatever, those kind of things, and it would be reliable. I'm here in Sydney with the new 2025 Yamaha R3, and it's spring here. As you can see, the jacaranda trees are in full bloom and they are the closest match to the color of the Yamaha Racing Blue. So it was no doubt that I had to come to one of these streets here in central Sydney, and you can also do if you are in Sydney next time and it's spring. And this time I'm riding the R3. Last time it was the Yamaha R15. When you talk about Sydney, it's impossible not to talk about the waterfronts. And when you talk about a Yamaha R series, well, it is next to impossible not to talk about an R1.
The Yamaha R1, it's a 2010 model. This is really an amazing bike. I really love this one. I just like the looks. It's just an amazing motorcycle. It's going to start it for you so that you know exactly what it sounds like. And here you go, guys.
While the Yamaha R3 is a great urban motorcycle, but it truly belongs to the racetrack. And the next best place would be the mountains with smooth tarmac. And that's where I went.
Alright, welcome to Putty Road, and this is the new Yamaha R3. It looks absolutely stunning with the Yamaha Racing Blue, especially under the sun. And what Yamaha has done compared to the outgoing R3, which was there for 6 years, as far as the looks are concerned, is change the front end to match the rest of the new R series motorcycles. And this really looks modern, up to date, and in sync with the R7, the R9 and the R1s of the world. In my opinion, this is actually the most beautiful looking R series motorcycle with the double dash DRLs over here, and instead of ram induction in the M1, this actually throws out lumens, and the projector here does an excellent job at that, and actually it makes it look even more menacing and beautiful from the front. Well, Yamaha has also redesigned the tail a little bit. They have also saying that they made the tank here a little thinner so that it's easier for people, especially of shorter heights, to grab the bike and to reach the ground. But you already know that at 780 mm, which was also the seat height of the previous outgoing R3, this is one of the lowest seated track oriented motorcycles out there, which makes it very easy for beginner riders as well. Clip-ons here, they actually also give it a big bike look.
I just love the negative LCD with the blue backlight. It just gives it a very futuristic look as well.
The quality is absolutely stupendous, as it's expected from Yamaha. Lip winglets here, slight winglets here. I'm not sure whether they were there in the last R3 or not, but I think overall this is a very smart looking motorcycle. This is not really your in-the-face motorcycle, but when you park it with the big boys, I think it's going to get the due respect. And I wish that the white color also comes to India whenever it comes to India. Now let's talk about performance. It's the same 321cc mill, parallel twin, 42 horsepower, and essentially it's a very high revving engine. You can take it all the way to 12,500 RPM. The engine feels relatively out of stress because, of course, the compression ratio is not as much compared to the competitors, especially the ones which have a single cylinder pumping out more than 40 horsepower. Vibrations are less thanks to 2 cylinders. In fact, the smoothness is something that you will enjoy every time you get on this motorcycle. I think the quick shifter should have been standard accessory rather than an optional one, especially with the Dunlop rubbers that are on it. And the rider's geometry is also quite relaxed. It's not like your R15 or the KTM's, and which suggests that it can be also used as a long distance tourer. This doesn't have the delta box frame. It's a standard steel. This bike does not have any electronics except ABS, and no traction control, no quick shifter. Like I said, it's optional. From this generation 2025, it will finally have slipper clutch, which will be of course very useful on the track and on mountain roads like this. Everything boils down to one thing: the price, especially in India, because this is a CBU from Indonesia. Well, the previous generation was around 5 lakhs on road, and this one won't be too different. Only a person who loves Yamahas, who loves quality, will go for it. As good as for beginners, as it's good for a guy who has got multiple motorcycles, bigger ones, and but just want to get started on track. And this would teach you again a lot of things on the track. It will forgive you, it will be very easy on you, it will teach you tricks of trade, and it will just not be too harsh if you make that odd mistake, especially in the corner. The brakes are fantastic. There is one thing, especially in India: no matter what happens, no matter what Yamaha does, craze for Yamaha is just not waning. Even they don't have big bikes. I think the RX100s, the RG50s, they have managed to percolate to the new generation also, to the current Gen Z, from their fathers and parents, stuff like that. People are actually comparing it with Kawasaki 500, which has a 451cc, like 130 more cc's, like which is almost a commuter motorcycle added onto it, which makes around 51 horsepower. Of course, same setup, parallel twin, with this bike, and that costs around this only. That bike, I think the top end is around 190 kilometers an hour, 189, and this people are saying it goes to 180, which is stupendous for 300cc motorcycle, and that speaks volumes about the engine and the aerodynamics and everything that they have managed to put on this. If you are looking for a motorcycle which is very rare on the road and which would make you look like a discerning biker who knows what they want, sort of Keanu Reeves in black tuxedo, when you see him that he's capable of many things. So same cases with this motorcycle. It's not too flashy, it's very handsome. I think Yamaha is up to something. They are going to get something like the R4 or the R5, and they just want people to hang on. They want the loyal customers. They want to test their customers' loyalty. They want to test people like us, what they think about this bike. I mean, this bike, I could have said that this is not a good motorcycle, but that is not going to happen in 1,000 years. And on top of that, I think people like me who were born in 1980s, who have seen Valentino Rossi rise and of course retire, unfortunately, from MotoGP. For me, Rossi will always be Yamaha, and this reminds me of that era. I'm waiting for big motorcycles from the Yamaha stable to come in India, and until that happens, I think we are just going to have to do with the R3 and bikes like that. But MT09 is supposed to come to India. I think the rumor is in the air, or MT07, I don't know which one. And I think I should ride an MT09 as well. Yeah, why not? Let's do that.